there, garden nerds. I wanted to revisit something I mentioned in my last video about seeds versus seedlings that came up this week twice with two different clients regarding fruit trees. And that is, when you are putting in a new fruit tree, there's one tip that will make it a success in the years to come. Let's talk about that. When you go to the nursery, it may be really tempting to buy a fruit tree that already has fruit on it. In fact, the nursery professional may even suggest this one already has fruit on it. And that may feel like you're gonna get fruit sooner if you buy a tree that already has fruit on it. And the answer to that is both yes and no. Let's look at why. Fruit trees have a finite amount of energy when you first bring them home. They've been in the pot the whole time. They're probably getting fed. They're getting watered, but they might be getting fed. And when you put them in the ground, they need every ounce of energy they have to send out new roots so that they can produce for you later on. If you leave the fruit and flowers on the tree, all of that energy is expended on making more flowers and ripening the fruit that's there, instead of making good roots. So what can happen is that first year, you'll get the fruit that's ripening on that tree that you brought home. But thereafter, the tree is working so hard to catch up, it won't produce fruit for 1, 2, maybe 3 years. Now, to give you an example, I've done this as an experiment myself. I took a tree that had fruit on it from the nursery, I planted it in the ground, and I left the fruit on it. Sure, it produced that fruit. I got that harvest. But then for the next 2 or maybe even 3 years, it didn't produce at all because I had stunted the growth of that tree. It didn't have the energy to make bigger root systems, and so it just sat there for the next couple of years, building new roots. So now, this year, in the 4th year, it is producing fruit. You may feel the urge to buy something that already has fruit on it, to plant it in the ground and leave that fruit on it because you're impatient. I've felt that way too. But if you pull the fruit and flowers off your tree for the first year, let it focus on making good roots that whole year, and then it will start to produce an abundant harvest for you. So that's it. It's a pretty simple trick. It just requires a little bit of sacrifice in the beginning and a measure of patience. And then you will have fruit trees that produce for you for a long time. If you like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to find out when our next video comes online. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber to support all the free stuff that we do here at Gardenerd. My Patreon subscribers, we have a fun monthly hangout where they bring their burning gardening questions and I answer them, and it's really fun, and I hope you can join us. So check that out, plus all of my books on gardenerd.com. Happy gardening.